Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mathew Medforth Show. It's a football podcast where I'm going to be talking about football. It's pretty much kind of the same thing as what I've been doing on this channel for about a year now. So, yeah, today's podcast we're going to be talking mostly about the major NFL moves that happened in the off season. So, yeah, I think this is a better way to cover the NFL offseason instead of having to make a short for like every single move. But we're going to be going through the coaching moves and the player moves specifically today. And the coaching carousel that spun a few months ago. I know seems like old news now, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. Like the Falcons, I think were the first team. Yeah, not the in-season firings though. Yeah, not the Titans and Giants firing their coaches. They went into the season with openings on their coaching and availability. So they were open jobs. So that would lead us to be that'd be the Falcons first to fire their coach. And yeah. I don't think Raheem Morris did too bad a job, but he didn't do a great job either. He should have figured out how to win the NFC South in year one, a lot of people think, and the Falcons just didn't. So out he goes. And then Cardinals fired their coach. I think it was time for Jonathan Gannon to go. I mean, wasn't too bad a coach, but I think just some change needed to happen. Cardinals were supposed to be building from what they did in 2024, and they cratered back down to 3-14. That's not what you want to see. You trust me, I know. And then I think a move that shocked everybody, leading us to believe no coaching candidate is safe from getting fired. No one is safe. Safe is what was proven with John Harbaugh being fired by the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Sure, like maybe it could have happened, maybe it should have happened, or maybe it shouldn't. I didn't think the Ravens would actually go through with it. I mean, they didn't deliver on expectations this year. They didn't even win their division, and they had a losing record. Well, Baltimore was going to be a number 2 seed. Yeah, Ravens fired their coach. Now that John Harbaugh's on the open market, nobody is safe at that point. I mean, that was like the first 3 days after the regular season ended. And like the first firing didn't even happen until all the games have been played. Or that's what I led to believe. Because the Falcons fired their coach right after the game. Am I here? I think the Cardinals fired their coach on Monday. The Ravens, I know they fired John Harbaugh the Tuesday after the regular season. And that leads us to Thursday, where Mike McDaniel. That leads us to that Thursday in January. Oh, what was it? January the 8th. Mike McDaniel was fired by the Dolphins. All because Jeff Athley was on the open market. Or, no, not Jeff Athley. That's their coach now. What am I thinking about? John Harbaugh, excuse me. John Harbaugh on the open market. And Dolphins fired Mike McDaniel. Now, that's pretty much all we're going to have. I mean, sure, there's 6 jobs available, all so far. Baltimore, Arizona, Atlanta, Miami, Tennessee, and the Giants. Yes, that's the 6. So far. Then, Wild Card Weekend happened. There was pretty much a lot of pressure on the Bills, Packers, and Eagles coaches. Like, they needed their teams to win their game to get them more job security. The Packers and Eagles didn't. The Bills won their game against the Jaguars, but only by the skin of their teeth. Jacksonville could have easily won that game, but Jacksonville did not fire their coach. Oh, why would they? We're not here to talk about them right now. We're here to talk about the coaches that got fired. And surprisingly, at the time I'm recording this, Nick Sirianni and Matt LaFleur, the coaches for the Eagles and the Packers, those coaches, they still are on their respective teams at the time of this recording. But things can change. I don't think they will until at least the end of next season. So I think they're safe. If the Bills live to see another week, another round, and then it wasn't pretty much anything too crazy after that. On Sunday, that is. Then Monday night happened. Yep, Monday night happened. The Texans stomped the Steelers in the wild card. I thought they would. But if it was Baltimore playing Houston, I think Baltimore would have given them more of a run for their money. I didn't think Pittsburgh stood a chance against the Texans. And especially with the defense the Texans had, but not the point. The next day, like the very next day, Mike Tomlin stepped down as the Steelers head coach. Didn't get fired. Stepped down. Long tenure. I think it was back... Was it 2007? That he got hired with the Steelers? And yeah, it was a long time. Like, almost 20 years with one team. That's pretty good. But nevertheless, he does step down after 19 years as the Steelers head coach. Does anything else happen? Okay, that makes 7 openings. Who else? Isn't there 10 openings at one time? Oh yeah, because the Raiders fired their coach before all this. I forgot about the Raiders. I think someone else did. And I can't remember who. No, it wasn't the Saints. No, it wasn't the Buccaneers. I'd have to think about who else fired their coach, but I know the Raiders fired their coach. I know that. And I just forgot to mention it straight away. next? The divisional round. The Bills and the Broncos. The Bills played horribly. Josh Allen did all he could to drag the Bills out of the fire, but it was no match. No match. The Bills should have absolutely got stomped by the Broncos. And now, because of that, there goes Sean McDermott to the unemployed line. That makes, what was that, 7, 8, that makes our 9th opening. Okay. Makes 9 openings out of the 10. That's all. They all had. Yeah, the Browns fired their coach. I forgot about the Cleveland Browns for some reason. Why did I forget about the Cleveland Browns? Maybe I'm telling a story about the evolution from like playoffs. The coach is getting fired and completely skipped over 2 of the worst teams. So yeah, that's not very good. But yeah, the Browns. Okay, that makes our 10th opening. Okay, there's the 10th opening. No coaches get fired after that, and the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I should probably just congratulate the Seahawks now because I didn't after the game because, well, life happened, okay? Life happened. But moving on. Now the jobs are getting filled. Who was first off the board? I think Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, he got fired by the Browns. That was the guy who got fired by Cleveland. He is now the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. And I think that's a good move. I think it's a good idea to bring in Kevin Stefanski as a coach. I think that team has a lot of talent, but their quarterback room, it worries me. It's better than the Browns QB room by a long shot, but it's pretty much all it's got going for it. We don't know if Penix is going to stay healthy, and, well, they only signed Tua to the 1-year deal, but still. Yeah. The Cardinals hire Mike LaFleur. It's off the McVay coaching tree. That's a good coaching tree to come from. I don't know why they call it that, but who am I to judge? Yeah, maybe he's going to become a good coach and help us in the long run. The short run for 2026, I think. Look, I think I'm the most optimistic Cardinals fan out there. With that being said, though, I think this team needs to take a gap year. I really do. I think they're going to take a gap year because, well, maybe improve from the win total, recover from the awful season last year. And yeah, maybe try and if things work out your way in 2026, it's great. If they don't, they don't. I'm hoping it works out for the Cardinals and not the other teams, like I predicted going into last season. Boy, do I look like a fool for saying that the Cardinals were going to win the division. I sure do. But yeah. I think Jacoby Brissett, I think he should be the starting quarterback. He's been playing all right. Look, I'll be a happy man if the Cardinals land Fernando Mendoza. With that being said, though, I don't think they're going to land Fernando Mendoza. I still think they should get the number one pick because the Raiders did win in Week 18. The Jets won more recently than the Cardinals did. Cardinals hadn't won a game since Week 9. Yeah, that's why. Gonna act as a Rams fan for a little while. I couldn't bear to watch my own team. But in the sense of that, I learned loyalty. And I'm gonna be sticking with the Cardinals no matter how bad. But please, Cardinals, don't please just win games more often. And I want to praise you, but when you have a 3-14 season, I can't really do that. Okay, so we're done talking about that. What next? I think we've got to talk about the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. They fire Sean McDermott. As of right now, at the time I'm filming and recording this podcast, Sean McDermott, I don't think has a coaching job right now. I could be wrong. I don't think he does now. If he did, I probably would have heard about it. But nevertheless, yeah. They promote Joe Brady from offensive coordinator to head coach. I mean, sure, an in-house guy, that could help. But it's like, this guy, the guy that they're wanting to be their head coach, has no head coaching experience. None. Other than he's an in-house guy. That's all he's got going for him. Yeah. The Baltimore Ravens, what did they do? Oh, yeah, they hired Jesse Minter the third? Or is it just Jesse Minter? I'm not sure. Or the last part, but he's their new head coach. Maybe letting John Harbaugh go on second thought, maybe that was a bit of a mistake. Because I'm not too confident in the Ravens coaching. I'm not, like, super confident. But I'm confident enough to say, well, yeah, I think the Ravens will win their division next year. But I don't think they'll do much more than that. I don't know. Like, the schedules, I think it gets released like a month or so from when I'm making this, so I really can't say. But I'm gonna put my trust in Baltimore anyway because they got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They've got a well-rounded team. And we'll talk about some of their off-season moves or moves they didn't even make in a little while. Once we're done talking about the head coach openings that were filled. Oh, so that's 4 of the 10. The Browns hired Todd Monken. People were walking out on the Browns coaching jobs, I hear, because when you have a reputation of losing like the Browns do, you kind of don't get the best coaches. Seems to be how that usually goes. But I don't know. Oh, but yeah, they hire somebody. I just think they're just gonna be another. It's just gonna be another bad year, maybe even a gap year for the Cleveland. No, gap year kind of says to the Cardinals. I see that they could find a way to success in a year or two with the Cardinals. The Browns, they have a nice rookie class going for them, but that's about all they got going for them. I can't see a path to success right now for the Browns. I just can't. So it's probably hiring their coach. It's probably a seat filler. Yeah. Okay, who next? Next didn't we talk about yet? What am I thinking about? No, it's not Chargers. The Raiders, they hire the Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak. And that's a good hire. Or if you ask me. Like the Raiders, like I can see the Raiders winning a little bit and more. But I only say a little bit because, well, the division they play in is called the AFC West. If the Chiefs underperform, I could see the Raiders passing the Chiefs. But I think they're like, I don't know if they're up there with, they're not up there with the Chargers and Broncos. I don't know if they can really even compete with them right now. Like, even with Fernando Mendoza. So, yeah, and I say that as if he's going to be a Raider. The Raiders could still mess it up. I don't think they will. Like, it's a no-brainer move. Like, if they don't make that, it could ruin their franchise. But they're not. They're probably not gonna mess that up. Like, that's like New York Jets level though. No. Anyway, the Titans now. They hire Robert Saleh and they hire Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator. Look, I think Robert Saleh was a good coach when he was on the Jets. Okay? Yeah, he was a good coach when he was on Jets. The New York Jets, of all teams. He was getting the most out of everyone. His firing in 2024 was undeserved. He did such a good job with as the San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator. And I don't know how it's going to pan out in Tennessee. I think Tennessee will be more competitive and better because they have certified good coaching instead of bad coaching. Like, oh, excuse me. If it doesn't pan out in Tennessee for Robert Saleh, I think I would still cut him some slack. I still would, because the Tennessee Titans, they have not had a really good success record or good track record the last couple years. And yet their players seem to be the ones. Or no, I think it's an organizational failure that happened, but I think they can get past it before it spirals out of control. It might have the last couple of years, but I think it might be on the mend, depending on how you want to look at it. So that's the Titans, and they hired Brian Daboll as their offensive coordinator. That should I think he'll get the most out of Cam Ward. He got the most out of Jackson Dart. Speaking of the team Jackson Dart is on, how about the New York Football Giants? Big Blue, as they call him. Hired the one, the only John Harbaugh as their head coach. That's a no-brainer hire. The Giants aced the hire. I think they've aced the offseason. But there's only one downside. I think they can improve their win total and be competitive. I don't think they'll have a schedule as hard as they did last year. That's very unlikely going to happen again. That's just absurd for it to happen 2 times in a row. And the Giants have been competitive. I think it's one of the best 4-13 teams we've ever seen. So, yeah. Okay. What next? Who else hired coach? I got the Titans. I got the Giants. I got the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Bills and Ravens, the Falcons, the Browns. So ought to be one team I'm missing. Oh, yeah. That's those Miami Dolphins. They hired Jeff Hafley. I think he could be a good head coach. I just think it's a bad situation right now. It's not like the generational failure that the Jets are. But the Dolphins, I think they're acknowledging that they're in a rebuild. It is a rebuild year. But I think sure, it could be okay, but maybe not. Because this is where I'm going to open up the off-season conversations, like the player transactions now. This is where I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to start with the Dolphins. Okay, getting rid of Tua, I think, was a good move. Because, he's done not very good for your franchise. He's not performed up to the level that you would have wanted him to. And then, getting Malik Willis. He was a good backup for the Packers. And getting Malik Willis, that wasn't a bad idea to bring him in. But there's a trouble. There's some trouble with that. They traded away Jaden Waddle to the Broncos. They released Tyreek Hill. They released like half their roster. But the ones that will hurt the most are getting rid of both of their wide receivers. Leaving Malik Willis with nobody to throw to. If I was the Dolphins front office, I would have kept Jaden Waddle on the team and started this rebuild, made it progress a little bit. Because Jaden Waddle's been good for your team. I mean, Tyreek Hill has too, but I think it was best for both Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins to move on. He got released. There was rumors about Tyreek Hill going to the Chiefs, but I don't think he's signed a contract with anyone at this point. Wait, I could be wrong. My address in the next podcast, I might have to look that up, but as far as I'm concerned, he is still a free agent. Longer than Kirk Cousins, apparently. The Falcons cut Kirk Cousins. They released him, and then he signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think it's a little bit of an odd move, but I think it's not too bad of a move. think the Raiders need to get a little younger. And I think they are. I think they're building a good team. Brock Bowers is arguably the best tight end in the league. Yeah, like Ashton Genty, I think he's going to take another step forward with better coaching. They're going to have better quarterback play with the national champion Fernando Mendoza very much likely to go to the Raiders. It hasn't officially gone through yet, but it's very much likely. It's just a matter of, okay, when are they going to get on the clock? When are they going to get that going? Like, as soon as that happens, the Raiders will have their franchise quarterback. But for mentorship and learning, I think Kirk Cousins is going to be a good mentor to Fernando Mendoza. I think he will. I think Fernando might sit on the bench for a year or two. Maybe get some playing time. Kirk Cousins shows him the ropes, I'll say a little bit. Because Kirk Cousins has years of NFL experience with 3 different teams I can think of. The Commanders, I know he was there for a little while. We all know Kirk Cousins was on the Vikings. And he was most recently on the Falcons. So, yeah. Now the Rams, the Rams have the Falcons pick, and they traded their own pick to the Chiefs to get Trent McDuffie. Kansas City's corner room weakened a little bit. And that might be the downfall of the Chiefs. Or Patrick Mahomes could underperform. Or more get... No, I can't say get injured. But he could wind up underperforming. Not being at the same level he was a few years ago. That's the level they need him to be if they want to get back in the playoffs. The Chiefs do. But bringing in A.J. Brown, yeah. The Eagles got rid of A.J. Brown. They traded him to the Chiefs. And Kenneth Walker left the Seahawks to go to the Chiefs. Those were some of their biggest moves, and they nipped those in the bud. So maybe they can strengthen their corner room in the draft. I don't know. It's feeling like the Chiefs are back. But I think it's still... I think it all depends on Mahomes and Kelsey if they're going to put a little more focus into football. The Chiefs are for sure a Super Bowl contender. If they're not, then it could get... Then the Chiefs won't make it. That's where I'm at with the Chiefs. If this was a couple years ago, it'd be like, oh, well, he can enjoy his side life and play football, and it won't affect the Chiefs. Because, a few years ago, their division was terrible. No one was going to catch the Chiefs. The Raiders are making a lot of good moves, and the Broncos and Chargers have proven time and time again that they are some of the best teams. So that's the trouble. That's the trouble that I have with the Chiefs. Say they were in the AFC North or the NFC South, I'd probably pencil them in to win the division. But that is not the case. Some of the offseason moves I could think of. Don't think there was too much else. Oh, yeah. Except if you want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. And the Raiders, they traded Max Crosby to the Ravens. I criticized the deal when it happened. I'm like, why are you doing this? It's like, you want to win, don't you? Why would you trade Max Crosby? Like, it was a good move for Baltimore. But here's a twist nobody saw coming. It even shocked me when I first heard about it. The Ravens backed out of the deal. Yeah, kind of like a car backing out of a parking spot. Yet Ravens backed out of the deal. Which honestly is shocking, but I think some people might call it shady. And yes, it was a little bit. What we hear is that Max Crosby failed a physical. And I believe that to be true. But now, at that point, we can make sure, we can think about it. Maybe the trade never did take place. And a couple teams just starting a rumor. We could think of it like that. Or, there's another way we could think about this. There is another way. We could think about it, though. There is another way. Maybe the deal never happened. We'll never know. But Max Crosby stays on the Raiders. And the Ravens, they lose they lose a few defensive players, but they compensate by getting Trey Hendrickson. I think the Bengals were just wasting him away. They were just wasting away at him. He had been putting up elite numbers. He's been putting in a team effort. Well, a mostly team effort. The rest of the team effort is what made the Bengals lose games. Although the Joe Burrow injury didn't help last year. But still. Like Shamar Stewart, I'm not going to blame him. He was a rookie. But the rest of the defense, I am going to give criticism to. Because, well, you can't just have one or two guys doing all the work. It has to be a team effort. And when the Bengals figures that out, then they'll be a good team. Because their offense, it's a team effort. Except for the offensive line. They need to get the offensive line. Like even the Cardinals got their offensive line all improve their offensive line a little bit. You tell me the Bengals aren't. It's odd. Yeah. So they bought. They lost Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. The Bengals mismanaged Trey Hendrickson, mismanaged their whole defense. The Ravens will not do that. The Ravens have one of the best track records in the NFL. It's either them or the Patriots. And even though they had a bad year last year, it's not going to hurt them in the long run. It's not. So that's where I stand with Cincinnati and Baltimore. And this can also tie into a couple draft needs as well. I can think of the Bengals and Ravens draft needs right now. The Ravens draft a couple defensive players to go around Trey Hendrickson. And maybe make sure your offensive line is good to go. They do that. The Ravens, you can just pencil them in to win the NFC. Not the NFC North, the AFC North. Oh, yeah, and the Steelers hired Mike McCarthy. I forgot about that in the coaching hires portion of the podcast. What is wrong with me? Yeah, I think about the AC North thing out years. Oh, yeah, they hired Mike McCarthy. I think he'll be happy in Pittsburgh. I just don't know. I just think they're just going to be doing the same things that they always do. Maybe could result in a losing season this time because Mike Tomlin isn't around. The Bengals, they need to get the offensive line and the defense and to put in team efforts every time they play. Because that's been their downfall. And it will continue to be. If they don't get this straightened out. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, D. Higgins in the running game, even Mike Gesicki, they will be the strength of the Bengals. Their defense and O-line is going to be their downfall. So, got to make sure that doesn't happen. The Browns, well, I don't really know what to think about the Browns. And I have just one more team to talk about. The Carolina Panthers. They acquired Devin Lloyd. They acquired another big defensive guy. I don't know who he is. Those were the only two moves that I heard the Panthers had made. Oh, yeah. Before we get on the Panthers, Mike Evans went to San Francisco. Yeah, that's going to hurt the Buccaneers a little bit. But back to the Panthers. They only made those two moves, as far as I can see, as major moves. But quality over quantity. Like, the Panthers somehow won the NFC South. It's like, okay, we want to win the division again, but we want to actually win it this time. We want to have winning record. Or we want to have double-digit wins. We want to do that. And the way it's been going the last few years, so we go back to 2023. I know Panthers fans, you won't want to go back. Just hear me out on this. In 2023, they only win 2 games. Worst team in the league. Fast forward a year, they win 3 more games. And okay, they're trending upwards. It's maybe a little generous for a 5-12 team, but they're taking steps in the right direction. This past year, they win 3 more games again, and then they win the division. Okay, we found our goal is to win the NFC South. And they did what a smart football team would do. They're a smart football team right now. It was dysfunction. We don't know what we're doing. They don't know what to do. So they're one of the worst. They're going to be one of the worst teams again. I don't think anybody is thinking that about the Panthers, especially with them adding their 2 big defensive guys. Devin Lloyd, one of them. I know they added another guy. I just can't remember his name right now. Otherwise, I would tell you, but I just can't remember that right now. But quality over quantity, and the Panthers ace the quality part. They almost beat the Rams in the playoffs. We want to get better. And the trend, from the 2 to 8, each year they won 3 more games than the year previous. And I know 8-9 and 11-6 are vastly different records. But for the Panthers, I think the trend will continue. It could. Even 9-8 would be good enough to win the NFC South, but I don't know their schedule, so I can't really predict it. But if I had to put a wild guess out in the open, I would say that the Panthers, because they win 2 games, they win 3 more games than the year before. And they win 8 games this year. That's 3 more than the year before. The trend is you take the win total from last year and you add 3 to it, And that's 3 more games you don't lose. It's 3 more games you win. With a record like that, that'd win the NFC South by like 2-3 games. That is what the Panthers, I think that's what the Panthers want to do. It's what I think they will do. And that's going to be my podcast for this week. Hey guys, I've been Mathew Medforth. I'm going to try to do these every week. I'm going to try. I'm not going to promise, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to gather some news from football, or maybe try to do some predictions. We're going to have fun with it. And when we're doing this. But until then, we'll see you next time.